Have you ever had a cut so bad that you wondered if stitches were the only option? What if I told you that a household item sitting in your junk drawer could seal that wound in seconds? Super glue, a tool meant for fixing broken objects, turns out to be an incredible medical hack. But how did this sticky miracle become a lifesaver? The story of super glue as a medical marvel begins not in a lab, but on the battlefield. During the Vietnam War, medics needed a way to quickly close deep wounds when stitches weren't an option. Soldiers were bleeding out before they could get proper treatment, and time was their worst enemy. That's when an unlikely hero, cyanoacrylate, the main ingredient in superglue, stepped in. In emergency medicine, one of the biggest hurdles is stopping bleeding quickly and effectively. Traditional stitches require time, precision, and sterile conditions, luxuries that battlefield medics didn't have. They needed something fast, something that could hold wounds shut without the hassle of threading a needle through torn flesh. The medical world had dismissed super glue as too brittle for deep cuts, but in desperate times they had no choice but to test its potential. Imagine being a medic, watching a soldier slip away because conventional methods aren't fast enough. You're scrambling for a solution, your hands slick with blood, the pressure mounting with every heartbeat. Then, in a last-ditch effort, you reach for a small tube of glue, apply it to the wound, and, miraculously, the bleeding stops. The wound seals, the soldier lives. In that moment, something as simple as glue becomes a game changer. This battlefield discovery wasn't a fluke. It sparked further research into medical adhesives, leading to the development of skin-safe surgical glues used in hospitals today. Scientists refined the formula, reducing toxicity and improving flexibility. What started as an improvised battlefield remedy turned into a staple of modern medicine, allowing patients to skip stitches for clean, quick wound closures. Would you trust a drop of glue over a set of stitches? Many doctors do. In fact, you may have had surgical glue used on you without even realizing it. From emergency rooms to everyday cuts at home, the evolution of superglue into a medical tool has saved countless lives. But how exactly does it work? Superglue works by creating a strong polymer bond when it comes into contact with moisture, like the natural moisture on human skin. Here's why it's so effective. One of the most significant advantages of using superglue for wounds is its speed. Unlike traditional stitches, which require threading a needle through skin, tying knots, and allowing time for healing, superglue sets in seconds. The moment it makes contact with skin moisture, it polymerizes into a solid structure, creating an instant seal. This speed is particularly critical in emergency situations where immediate wound closure is necessary to prevent excessive blood loss and contamination. In battlefield scenarios, trauma centers, and even at-home emergencies, the ability to seal a cut instantly can be the difference between prolonged bleeding and rapid recovery. When a wound is exposed, it becomes vulnerable to bacteria and environmental contaminants. Stitches leave small gaps between sutures where microbes can enter, increasing the risk of infection. Superglue, however, forms an impenetrable seal over the wound, acting as a natural barrier against harmful pathogens. The glue's hardened layer prevents dirt, dust, and bacteria from reaching the underlying tissue, which significantly reduces the chances of an infection developing. This feature is especially beneficial in settings where sterile medical supplies are limited, such as outdoor environments, disaster relief areas, and makeshift medical setups. Moreover, traditional bandages must be changed frequently, exposing the wound repeatedly to contaminants. In contrast, superglue stays in place for several days, maintaining a consistent protective barrier until the wound heals sufficiently for the glue to naturally wear off. One of the biggest concerns with stitches is the potential for scarring. Stitches work by pulling the edges of a wound together, which can create tension and sometimes lead to raised or thickened scar tissue. The punctures made by the needle also contribute to additional trauma in the surrounding skin. Superglue, on the other hand, distributes tension evenly across the wound, promoting a cleaner, flatter healing process. By sealing the wound without penetrating the skin, it minimizes tissue damage and reduces the risk of excessive scar formation. This makes it an ideal choice for treating facial lacerations, cosmetic wounds, and areas where minimizing scarring is a priority. Traditional stitches can be painful, both during the stitching process and throughout the healing period. The sensation of a needle puncturing already sensitive skin can be uncomfortable, and the subsequent pulling of sutures as the wound heals can cause ongoing irritation. Additionally, removing stitches later can be another painful experience. With superglue, there are no needles, no punctures, and no tightening sutures pulling at the skin. Instead, the adhesive simply seals the wound without causing additional trauma. This pain-free application makes it particularly useful for young children, individuals with low pain tolerance, and those who need quick, painless wound care without the hassle of traditional medical procedures. Superglue is widely available and inexpensive compared to professional medical treatments. While hospitals use specialized medical-grade adhesives, even household cyanoacrylate can serve as an emergency alternative. This accessibility makes it a practical option for first aid kits, survival gear, and home medical emergencies where immediate wound closure is necessary. Another reason superglue is so effective is its durability. Once it dries, it forms a waterproof barrier that stays intact even when exposed to moisture. Unlike traditional bandages that can peel off when wet, glue-sealed wounds remain protected during showers, swimming, or sweating. This feature makes it particularly valuable for outdoor enthusiasts, athletes, and individuals who may not have the ability to keep a wound dry for extended periods. While superglue is an excellent tool for minor wounds, it is not suitable for all injuries. It should not be used on deep or wide wounds that require proper medical intervention. Wounds with high infection risk, such as animal bites or contaminated cuts. Sensitive areas like the eyes, mouth, or mucous membranes. Allergic individuals, as some people may have skin reactions to cyanoacrylate. Superglue has transformed from a simple household adhesive into an invaluable tool in medical and emergency situations. Its ability to stop bleeding instantly, form a protective barrier, minimize scarring, and reduce pain makes it a superior alternative to traditional stitches for many minor wounds. Whether on the battlefield, in hospitals, or at home, this small tube of glue has proven to be a life-saving innovation. And the best part? This approach isn't just for doctors or soldiers, it's something you can use too. Next time you have a small cut, instead of reaching for a bandage, you might just find that the solution is already in your drawer.